This week on the Brody File, we have the exclusive potential GOP presidential contenders sign up for Senator Lindsey Graham's bill that would ban abortions at 20 weeks. The senator weighs in.
If you're telling parents to sing to the baby because they understand your voice, really should we be aborting a child at that stage in the pregnancy? I don't want anybody carrying the Republican banner that doesn't get this.
Also, Rush's little brother, David Limbaugh, finds Jesus, and he's telling the world about it.
You've got a God of infinite love who created you, even though you're not worthy of it.
And Ted Cruz gets booed on stage because he supports Israel.
If you will not stand with Israel and the Jews, then I will not stand with you. Thank you, and God bless you.
And boom, drop the mic, Cruz out. What a show we have on tap. The Brody File on Across America. Next. And welcome everybody to the Brody File. We're glad you're with us. Look, we begin tonight with one of the most politically charged words in the country, abortion. It has led to political fights ever since Roe v. Wade legalized the gruesome procedure back in 1973. It has also led to tens of millions of babies being killed. Well, now it looks like abortion could be front and center in the upcoming 2016 presidential election. In a story you're going to only see here on the Brody File, some potential GOP presidential candidates are showing their support for a piece of controversial abortion legislation. We've obtained letters from many of them backing a bill that would ban abortions in America after 20 weeks. It is being called the most important pro-life legislation to come along in quite some time. A federal attempt to ban all abortions after 20 weeks, the halfway point of pregnancy. It's commonly referred to as the fetal pain bill because of the prevailing medical opinion that an unborn baby can feel pain by then. Senator Lindsey Graham is the main sponsor of the bill.
If you're telling parents to sing to the baby because they understand your voice, really should we be aborting a child at that stage in the pregnancy? I don't want anybody carrying the Republican banner that doesn't get this.
That's why Graham, along with pro-life groups like the Susan B. Anthony List and National Right to Life, are pressuring possible Republican presidential contenders to get behind the bill, even though many Democrats and pundits will consider it toxic. And the response so far?
Great response. All the major candidates, I think, will be with us.
CBN News has obtained those letters of support. Former Florida Governor Jeb Bush calls the bill humane and compassionate. Mike Huckabee says the effort is pro-life and pro-woman. And Louisiana Governor Bobby Jindal considers it common sense. All told, letters and support came in from Bush, Jindal, Huckabee, along with Florida Senator Marco Rubio, former Pennsylvania Senator Rick Santorum, Indiana Governor Mike Pence, Kentucky Senator Rand Paul, and Texas Senator Ted Cruz. As for other potential Republican candidates, Texas Governor Rick Perry did sign a similar version of this bill in his state, and Wisconsin Congressman and former vice presidential candidate Paul Ryan supported the version in the U.S. House. New Jersey Governor Chris Christie and Wisconsin Governor Scott Walker have yet to provide letters. Supporters say a law banning abortions after 20 weeks is long overdue. Currently, the United States is one of only 7 countries that allows elective abortions after 20 weeks. The others? North Korea, Canada, China, the Netherlands, Singapore, and Vietnam. Polling seems to be on their side, too. 55% of Americans think abortion should be banned after 20 weeks, and the number is even higher among women. It's at 60%.
This one has caught fire. This is wildly popular. And it's wildly popular certainly with pro-life people. Of course we want to protect those children. But it's also very popular with Democratic women. It's also popular with young people. It's very popular with women. That's called consensus.
But critics beg to differ, thinking that because Roe v. Wade is the law of the land, this bill won't hold up constitutionally, arguing that the baby isn't viable outside the womb until 22 weeks, not 20.
Roe v. Wade says that the government has a compelling interest to protect the unborn at medical viability. That's 1973. A lot has changed since 1973.
But what about the concern that pushing this will give Democrats more ammunition to peddle their campaign theme that the Republicans are carrying out a war on women? Graham clearly welcomes the challenge.
Bring it on. I want this debate.
He could get it if Republicans take back the Senate in the upcoming midterm elections. Right now, though, the Senate Democratic leadership won't bring the bill up for a vote, even though it's already passed in the House, and versions of it have passed in 13 states across the country. But if Republicans do win the Senate, the debate about what happens to an unborn baby in an abortion could be front and center once again. Well, look, continuing on this abortion theme, it looks like the Obama administration has been caught fibbing again. Oh, bad news. You may remember that back in 2009, President Obama said that no federal government money is going to be used to fund abortions under Obamacare. He even used, or actually issued, an executive order that went into effect. Well, the president may want to Google these words: abortion and GAO report, and that's because a new nonpartisan Government Accountability Office report confirms that Obamacare actually does allow for taxpayer-funded abortions. The GAO report found that 28 states had no laws restricting qualified health plans that limit abortion coverage. That's a total, by the way, of over 1,000 Obamacare plans that allow for abortion with taxpayer dollars. Now, I know it's shocking. The White House may not be telling the truth. I'm beside myself. I'm sure you are too. Speaking of shocking, by the way, let's move to another topic. How about the group ISIS? Those beheadings, downright shocking, absolutely sickening. President Obama first called them a JV team. Then he said they're a manageable problem. And now he wants to degrade and destroy them. But many Republicans, like Senator Lindsey Graham, say the president is late to the party and has put America in a tough position.
The truth of the matter is that his decision to pull all troops out of Iraq set the conditions for ISIL's rise. His refusal to help the Free Syrian Army 3 years ago, when they were under siege, allowed ISIL to fill in this vacuum. So he's made some very poor bets. They've blown up in his face.
All right, on to the conflict in Gaza. As if the underground tunnels and rocket assaults weren't enough, the Israeli government had another big battle during its recent conflict with Hamas: the media. In fact, a new report by the Media Research Center says that news outlet Al Jazeera America favored Hamas-controlled Gaza over Israel 5-1 throughout their recent coverage. The study says that AJA reporters interviewed Hamas supporters 5 times more than Israeli supporters. And they also say the news organization conducted all of their live reports from the Gaza side of the conflict, and their correspondents completely stayed away from using the word terror, even though they were reporting on, a terrorist organization. Gewalt. Well, despite the media, there are a few outspoken supporters of Israel. As a matter of fact, Senator Ted Cruz is one of them. And get this, he was booed off the stage because of it. Cruz was the keynote speaker at an event sponsored by the group called In Defense of Christians. Cruz came to speak about Christian solidarity with Israel. However, some of the crowd were Palestinian Christian supporters of the Syrian government and even the terrorist group Hezbollah. So things got rowdy. Have a look at what happened.
Those who hate Israel hate America. My heart weeps that the men and women here will not stand in solidarity with Jews and Christians alike who are persecuted by radicals.
Please respect for dialogue. Respect, please. Okay. We're in America.
If you will not stand with Israel and the Jews, then I will not stand with you. Thank you, and God bless you.
And he's out. That's a drop the mic moment. Hey, look, it's not often Ted Cruz gets booed on stage, especially by a Christian audience. So what happened exactly? Well, time now for our Brody File commentary. All right, look, folks, a couple things here. Let's put it all in perspective, because on the surface, you may be thinking, hey, why are Christians booing Ted Cruz since he's one of them? Well, actually, not really. It's important to understand a key distinction. Some Christians in the Middle East see Israel in a far different light than evangelical Christians. Not all Middle Eastern Christians, but it is a different view, over there at least. A Palestinian Christian and an American-born evangelical Christian have differences, and Cruz clearly got that point as you saw on the tape. But let me make a couple of other points here. First of all, born-again evangelical Christians love Israel. It is just that simple. Trust me, I know, I'm Jewish. I gave my life to Jesus, who was Jewish, by the way. Hello, newsflash. Anyhow, I did that back in 1988. I walked into evangelical Christianity with some initial skepticism, but guess what? I found that evangelical Christians embrace the Jewish people and Israel more than any other faith. There is no disputing that whatsoever. So, if you read that Christians were booing Cruz's support of Israel, just remember, we're not talking about born-again evangelical Christians in America. We're talking about Middle Eastern Christians with a different mindset. All right, when the Brody File returns, one-on-one with David Limbaugh, how Rush Limbaugh's younger brother found Jesus. We're back in a moment. And welcome back, everybody. All right, look, what do you need in life? Well, for the Brody File, we need lots of good food. Also, a good wardrobe, a must. But most of all, we need Jesus. And guess what? Our next guest also found that out. He needs Jesus too. David Limbaugh is a lawyer, a best-selling author, and also happens to be the younger brother of talk show host and titan Rush Limbaugh. Well, for years, Limbaugh denied that Jesus was really the Messiah. But eventually he came to believe in Jesus and he gave his life to him. He's now written the new book called Jesus on Trial. A lawyer affirms the truth of the gospel. Now, some of our conversation with David Limbaugh. David, thanks for doing this. Appreciate it.
Thanks for having me.
All right, look, Jesus on Trial, I got to tell you, I am curious why you wanted to write this book because, look, you've written so many other books, and this one seems to have, there's always heart behind the book, but
Yes.
this seems special in
Yes.
some way. Explain this.
There's more of me in it, and it's the most gratifying, because it includes my spiritual journey. It might be a turnoff to possible readers, more of me. And okay, I take that back. But it does include my spiritual journey, which I thought was important to include because I started out as a skeptic. And I believed when I was approached to do this book by Regnery, and they approached me right after some high school friends challenged me on the rationality of my faith, and I did an inadequate job of evangelizing and apologetic to them. So those two things coalesced at such a close time, like 3 days apart, that I thought there may be some providential promptings. And I don't know, I'm not that charismatic as a Christian, but I did consider it, and I think God does intervene, and He's sovereign. The theology of Christianity blows me away. It is too weird not to be true. And the Bible just reeks of truth. It just screams truth when you begin to study it and open yourself up to it. I was trying to reinvent God in my image as an amateur philosopher in college, and I found, oh, wait, the Bible, God's revealed Himself. Why do I need to reinvent the wheel? So what this book is an affirmation of the integrity and the divine inspiration of the Bible. That's what it really is. My excitement about the Bible when I discovered it, when I finally opened myself up to the Bible, it opened itself up to me, and it promises to do that.
That truth that you're talking about, that reality, all those realities you talked about, how did that personally change your life? How did you seen that truth and go, you know what? Well, that gives me a whole new perspective on life. How does that work for someone like yourself and others?
Well, when I first came to believe that the biblical prophecy was real, it hit me. I'm holding a book that is a message to me, individually, and to you, from the holy God of the universe. That blew me away. I hate to use these mundane terms. Awesome. Blew me away. But I don't know of any better way to describe it. I'm holding that in my hands. And I do, by the way, believe the Bible is living and breathing and speaks to us. It's a supernatural book that contains God's words, but it really speaks to me in a different way. The same scripture may hit me a different way than it hits you. You can go to a sermon and you can be sure the pastor's speaking directly to you, and another guy can be too and take it a totally different, an accurate way.
Right.
But that's the nature of the supernatural. That's God's supernatural nature. But of course it changes your life. It gives you a perspective that you have an eternal being, God, who loves you, and you realize why you were created, and it gives you a perspective that some of these things that we have to endure on this side of eternity are bearable. And you realize you've got a God of infinite love who created you, even though you're not worthy of it. And he created you knowing he was going to have to come and not going to have to come, but he would come and save you from the sin you are bound to commit. And so I think it does change people's lives. But you can't be a casual Christian. I mean, you can be, but once you are saved and once you embrace all this, if you don't stay in the Scripture and stay in prayer, you're going to backslide from time to time. And that's why we're encouraged to exercise the spiritual disciplines. I don't know that it's magic for everybody. I don't know that everybody has a lightning bolt experience. I came kicking and screaming, but I'm still telling you it's been the greatest thing that ever happened to me.
Such a refreshing interview. David Limbaugh here on the Brody File. He came kicking and screaming. I love it. All right, when we come back, a TV anchor goes public with the shocking news that he has only months to live. His Christ-changing message next. And welcome back. All right, well, talk about a declaration of faith. Have you seen this? A television news anchor from Illinois took to the airwaves to deliver what was probably the most difficult newscast of his life. 51-year-old David Benton broke the news over the air that he has terminal brain cancer. But it was his bold declaration of faith that has people talking. Take a look.
Basically, my cancer is back and it's too big for surgery and radiation. The goal here is to have a few more days and to make them the best that they can be in the life that I have. As you know, I'm a born-again Christian. I believe that I'm in God's hands. I'm at peace, and I know that He's going to take care of the days ahead, and that the goal here is to have the best ones possible.
You know, doctors gave him 4 to 6 months to live, and so, you know, that's tough news, anybody hearing it. But I tell you what, God bless you, Dave Benton, and others, of course, dealing with a similar diagnosis. We don't know what the future holds. However, we do know that God holds the future. We're back in a moment. And welcome back. All right, football season is here. Ho! That should be a happy occasion for gridiron fans and couch potatoes alike. Believe me, I'm a couch potato. Unless your fantasy team, of course, looks like mine. Anyway, what should be fun times haven't been so good for NFL fans as the league is marred in scandal right now. So to break it down for us, here is Amber Strong with another edition of Poplitical.
That's right, David, it's football season, but unfortunately what is happening off the field is what's making all the headlines lately. The NFL has seen its fair share of controversy lately, and in the middle of it all, there is one guy that many NFL fans want to see gone more than NFL Commissioner Roger Goodell. This guy, right here, the Redskins mascot and team name. The demand for a moniker move has been growing for some time, with protesters outside of Redskins games and opponents saying it represents a racist stereotype. The group Change the Mascot is sending a letter to NFL owners hoping they're able to pressure Redskins owner Dan Snyder to change the name. In May, 50 members of the Senate also sent letters to Roger Goodell, asking him to help in the efforts as well. Still, others say the number of Native Americans actually calling for the change is very low and has been overstated by the media. But this is Washington, D.C. This is a city of change and of solutions. So we're popping the question back at you. Is it time for the Redskins to change their name? And if so, what should it be? Tweet us your answers at Amber C. Strong and at The Brody File. In other political/football news, Tim Tebow is joining Good Morning America. Tebow worked as an analyst for ESPN and has taken his talent over to ABC for a new segment called Motivate Me Monday. He joins the ranks of other celebs who have landed big-time news jobs recently, like actress Stacey Dash, who rose to fame after co-starring in the 1995 film Clueless.
Hello, there was a stop sign. I totally paused.
Dash has joined the team over at Fox News. She's an outspoken Republican who publicly supported Mitt Romney during the 2012 campaign. So with all the big celebrities taking the major TV jobs, should I be concerned, David? I know where you sit. Just remember that. That's it for this week's Poplitical. Back to you.
All right, thanks, Amber. When we come back, there's no good way to break up with a girlfriend, right? Well, we found a former politician that might have found the worst way possible. Back in a moment with our Oy Vey moment of the week. And welcome back to the Brody File. All right, look, breakups are no fun. I mean, we know that. For example, there are the tears. There I am, in the middle of a breakup. The screaming, and those dreaded 4 words.
We need to talk.
But alas, as long as there is love, there will be breakups. WikiHow.com, look at that, even has a page dedicated to teaching you how to perform the perfect breakup. But then there's another caveat, how to announce the breakup to friends and family. So one politician teaches us what not to do in this week's Oy Vey Moment of the Week. All right, you remember our good friend Mark Sanford? He's the former governor of South Carolina. Remember when he went missing in 2009? Well, he's been featured a few times in our Oy Vey segment. Well, look at this. He's back again. Sanford, as you remember, was married at the time that he went, quote, missing. He was actually later found in Argentina with his new girlfriend. He calls her his soulmate. Well, things don't seem to be working out with the soulmate either. In fact, Sanford posted news of their breakup on Facebook. That's an Oy Vey moment right there. But however, there's one other problem. He supposedly made the 2,300-word announcement on Facebook before telling the girlfriend, the soulmate. So now we're at the Oygavolt level. I mean, look, folks, there are just certain things we probably should announce on Facebook, or at least give a little heads up before you post. I mean, hello, I'm breaking up with you. I'm going to post it on Facebook. Oygavolt. All right, folks, that does it for us. Thanks to the crew, Amber, our producer. God bless. Have a great week.